Just shutting my phone off. Well, hello everyone. I've had the opportunity to relax a bit and start getting some more info out about the gatherings. And let me say, it is so extensive and so magical and just heightened vibrations with everything going on with this. So it's very, very beautiful. Just checking my service here. Hey, there we go. Okay, I can see some of you now. That's great. So we had the gathering last night, July 3rd, in Kimberley, BC, and what an amazing gathering because of the souls gathering, as you know, and it's always so beautiful uh, with these coming together of all of us. However, before I go further, I wish to thank Monica and Kevin so much for uh, initiating the gathering and finding the venue for us to have it in. And the owner of the venue, Grow Tea and Elixir, Alicia. Also, I wish to express my utmost gratitude for providing that and facilitating the gathering for all of us to come together. In the beginning, Monica had messaged me, about a week or two ago, whenever it was, uh, suggesting that perhaps there was about a half a dozen people, souls in this area that would like to get together. And, what occurred is that the interest was much more than what she had anticipated. And it turned out that, perhaps we had about 20 at the gathering, but it was a small place and, it could facilitate 20. However, the interest was up to about 40, and it was quite small, and some had come and they had left. However, everything was perfect as it was, but it also showed us again that for our future gatherings, even if you think it is a small gathering in between the scheduled events, uh, what we're seeing, I believe, uh, you should at least secure area for 20, 30, 40 people. So we have learned, from this so that we can accommodate as many as possible. So everything is perfect, as we said, and it's great. So any in between gatherings that we may have in between what you could call the tentative prescribed ones every week. So if we have a one on Wednesday or Thursday evenings or what have you, please just you may not wish to anticipate that you might only have six. You might have, like we had with Kimberly, up to here 40 interested. So, so it's beautiful. So just putting that out there, and everything was perfect. And I thank Monica and everyone involved with this. And we're just going and growing with it and constructing it as we go along. So and it's always divinely perfect the way that it must go. So it's beautiful with that. And as I said in the beginning, if we have a gathering and only one shows, well, that's all that was supposed to be there. But if we have one and 50 or 100 shows, hey, that's what's supposed to be there too. And the ideology with this and the intents and purposes, again, as you all know, is sharing with each other and connecting with each other and passing on energetic codes, gifts, higher consciousness, perspectives, you name it, we're doing it. And there's just with this whole ascension and awakening, it's really every topic is inclusive. So you could write books upon books, as you know, and there's a lot of books already out there on every topic. So what it does, it makes it quite lengthy, um, to cover a lot of areas. So what we tend to do and what works best is to have our question and answer in discussion periods, and that works beautiful. And we took that route last evening. I had said we were beginning the gathering in a 6 minute live that I put on here on this timeline, and then I shut it down so we could open the floor and speak freely with it, and also, not recording hours of very excellent discussion, but not recording that because most of you do not wish to sit down and listen to 4 or 5 hours of a recording. My sometimes my lives are long enough when I share important things. So, having said that, the consideration is, I believe, going forward, unless things change, and we're always open to change, that at every gathering, what we will be doing is perhaps not recording the gatherings, but I will come on after the gatherings and give the highlights of what occurred. Now, however, Helen of the Light, Helen is with us, and Sharon, and they can record and take some pictures, and to the to what extent that we would need to. But for the most part, I would. I am not going to be, as far as I know, recording like I did with the other ones. I wish to keep my full focus and intent, on the others there. So, and we don't want to keep things lengthy uh, for any of you. Get right to the points, and get it out there as short as we can, instead of I rambling on. So that's what we'll be doing here in the future. We'll be having the gatherings, I anticipate, and you may not see nothing from I until after the gathering when I do some highlights. If Helen and Sharon has time, through it, if they wish to record something, then, what is divinely occurs does. So now, uh, what we well, let's begin. The gathering last night, as I said, we had about 20, including us in there. And I will say that the percentage of the divine feminine at the meeting gathering last night was about 95%. So again, a huge divine feminine presence, and very impressive power with that. Uh, but also the divine masculine are also beginning to step more into their divine masculine roles. As we know, a few months ago, uh, most of the Ascension community was again trying to assist the divine masculine to rise, and all of us had seen. The Ascension teachers, even you, all of us had noticed that, yes, they were rising a bit further, which is great. And also, again, last evening, um, through, you know, uh, and today through individuals that, yes, they are beginning to see it. They know what to do to assist with that, and to relieve the divine masculine from the suppression as well, so they can rise further. And just to get briefly into that, again, it's the matrix, if you will, the control of society that more so places that full burden uh, as a head of a family for the masculine, to provide for the family and keep them out there working in that routine, and not having time for the divine masculine to work upon themselves because they're caught up in that matrix, if you will. But what is occurring? Many are coming out of that. They're the masculine, for the most part, is saying, like, what am I doing this for? This is ridiculous. This has to change, spending all my time working to make money and separated from my family, perhaps even weeks at a time. Like, no, this is not life. This is not love. And it's ridiculous when you have everything here upon the surface with money, that if everyone had equal amounts of money, that would create, full harmony. And there is no reason why everyone cannot have that equality. And, the governments and what have you, the elites that controlled the money, very quickly, they could have shared it with the others, but, they didn't want to. And that's also why this awakening in Ascension is going on, because divinely, what they had did was so savage, and no, it's not accepted by anyone anymore. So we're creating the great change. And you know one of the great concrete steps that is coming into this present timeline is the RV and the many changes within the government's economics, the whole global financial system. As many of you know, it's not it's not fictional. It's not just delusional. For the ones of you that are in the know behind the scenes here, and we do with the Ascension community and the light community, we do have ones of light that are right in there within the governmental departments, and delivering information back out to the ones that are awakened to the degree to see it. And they are also doing further work at restructuring, and with the overall new quantum financial system that will come into well, it's already here. Actually, it's just an overlay of the existing system. And I fully feel right now that by September, as I mentioned, the great changes are going to be here. So everyone hang on, maybe not even till September. We'll see what occurs. But I got to get back to what occurred last night. Sorry, I started rambling. So yeah, we had mostly the females, um, divine feminine, were the most part there. In this community, it's very heightened here in Kimberley, and that's because so many are drawn here with many healers are here too, and advanced ones. It was just so very appreciative as well to see what I call so many advanced ones in their prowess here, and I always loved that. So we had the gathering. We were a little bit late getting there, and we probably didn't begin till about 5:30, and but we did go to almost 10 o'clock, I believe. And after that, several of us got together for a few more hours, which went a little bit one-on-one and a little bit more into depth. And it's with the one-on-ones, it goes more in depth because they have so much as well, uh, to, let's say, where others can give assistance with, and that's where I come in, and also to empower them a little bit further with what they're doing, because they are, very powerful ones. They are what will become teachers in the very near term, and they can assist so many more. And this is all about that. These gatherings is to assist as many as we can, empower them and their connection to God, and then, once they're empowered further to their highest degree, to turn around and, selflessly do the same things to assist others. So it's very great. What I got wrote down here is, some of the highlights, what came out during the discussions was We had one lady experience levitation. At one point, she said she levitated in her kitchen. Very true, very good. Um, some of the participants openly shared about them seeing ships in the past and different experiences with it and knowing that the ships are real. And yeah, that was several things about the ships which we know is real and several different experiences. And as we know, everyone is unique with their experiences, but it all makes a whole, and it's so great to sometimes also see for I unique experiences that I have not come across yet. And I love that. It's always something new. And that's what will be, the common theme through these gatherings as well, that there will constantly be new things. And each gathering is totally different. It's not like the one previous. And as we keep going forward, there's so many new things that are constantly and daily and hourly being distributed and integrated here. So as new things come, we need to speak about these new experiences, new sensations, and energy, and the whole thing. Uh, out of last evening, that gathering, it was very impressive to really see and come across for the first time for I another what I refer to as the Sibyls, as I mentioned several years ago when we were doing our uh, 5D grid work. The Sibyls are very important, and they're the oracles. They were a line of female prophets that actually could hear the voice of God. But to keep things short, with this lady last night, she was tested just about 2 weeks ago. She started hearing the divine voice to tell her to go do something with getting a parking pass or whatever. She tried to ignore it, but she couldn't. And then she went and did it. And then she saw why. It was to assist another. And she shared that experience with I and others last evening. It's just a powerful experience, but also, it was a training, divinely training her to trust what she's receiving to keep going forward and assisting others. And, the overall ascension, that's what it's about. Assisting others, keep getting empowered yourself, know about your guidance, but know that you're not alone here, that you're connected to divinity, the etheric realms, to prime creator, something that is more knowledgeable than what you are right at this time. As we know, everyone does not have all of the information to what exactly occurs. However, as you keep compiling the information and coming together and having these gatherings, everyone is coming to the gatherings with their piece of the puzzle, which is beginning to show you the picture as well. So it's so important for everyone to have no restrictions of fear or of anyone thinking you're nuts or crazy. No, come out and say your truth, and that is happening because these experiences are so important and they assist so many and they raise the overall vibration. It's the divine thing to do. Muster your courage and know, stand in your truth of your profound experiences no matter what, because that also it helps to create the new much quicker. Um, so yes, clairvoyancy, premonitions, one's had those, seeing the orbs. Uh, very awesomely. Also, there were two that had fairy experiences. One not so long ago, I believe what she said. is that she really didn't know fairies existed until, she saw, I believe, one or two. It might have been two instances, but now, hey, she believes that she saw it. And, I reflect back to visually with these eyes, the first actual uh, in line, straight sight that I got of a fairy was in Hung's Spotted Frog store where we had our two gatherings at um, in November and December. Then we had another small gathering over in Victoria. But the first time that I was visually able to see fairies was in Hung's store. I got the glimpse of her only for a second, and she vanished. But I got the vision, or not the vision, I actually saw her. She was there. It was not in the third eye. She was actually in this reality, that fairy. And so another gentleman, he that was at the gathering last night, and he shared it with me later that he had a cool experience where he was on the computer, and a fairy come out of the computer or something, and went in his bag of chips. And very, very cool. And he's amazing as well. He has had um, several amazing multi-dimensional um, experiences. Plus, he knows others too, and just so beautiful again hearing all these experiences from others, and sharing those with everyone. So, so a lot of highlights, a bit of it was more individual work, and we're still in Kimberley here, um, because there will be a little bit more individual get-togethers this evening. I believe we'll stay here again tonight because there is a little bit more, I believe, of ones that want to get together to discuss a little bit more. As you know, with this, it's so extensive when you get into each one's experiences, and a lot of these had occurred, over an entire life. So sometimes it can get lengthy, and just a few hours doesn't, fully appreciate what needs to be shared and said. So the team, the Ascension Caravan here, we are trying to be most flexible to that, as I mentioned, in between what we have weekly events, gatherings. My intents and purposes is also to accommodate between our route and, time permitting, as many individually as well, or even small groups, are great. If we have Yeah, so it's all. I was going to say something, but I changed my mind, um, because I don't wish to restrict this at all. And, with each gathering, what we are also doing, we are empowering the overall collective, because as each individual becomes better informed with what's going on, it's also raising the vibration. And I know many of you are seeing the outward confirmations already in the reality. What we've been noticing is that nothing is stopping this. Like, it's cutting that sharp path right through everything, and obstacles very quickly are becoming very condensed and pressured. If they are not in line with this, hey, B, come in. I must be Carrie, and it very quickly gets pushed out of the way. So again, as I said, this ascension is ascertained, and this divine mission we are all upon in reality. But this journey, and what I and the team currently are doing, it goes forward, and it's fully divinely supported to do that to the extent that it must. We're prepared, the team members, to take this right through to at least September if we need to. But let me say that I would love that even in a week's time that we don't need to, that we've done it, and secured everything that we can also reflect more of the higher change right into this reality. So I don't wish to restrict anything, but what I am saying is that we'll do this, as long as it takes. I know I will. I cannot speak fully for my team, but I know they're genuine. And our team, I should say, I shouldn't say this ownership thing because none of us owns any individual. We are all part of a whole. But I can say my divine comrades that are joining me on this, we're prepared to take this where it needs to go, is what we're saying. And money or none of that is going to stop us. We'll take this right through because actually that's part of the reason why we're doing this is to break down that control of money on society as well by empowering other ones to bring in the new higher timelines where you are free of that control of money. And as I mentioned before, I didn't wish to use money. I wished to put myself out there. I just didn't have it. So what I had to do was connect with all of you and get the support that we're getting to do this and make it happen. And that was divinely the way that it had to be. I attempted back in December. Had intended to go down the west coast of the U.S., but as you can see, what happened 3 times. I had to go to the border, and no, they wouldn't let me down there. But at that time, I had money saved up, like I probably had altogether maybe almost close to 3 grand saved up that I could have went down there for 3 months on my own and just go and visit everyone. However, that money, what I did have saved up, then I had used that up while I was waiting for this time. So, hence why I requested if it felt good with you, the sponsors and the donors to assist us with this mission. Um, and we're modestly keeping it as low as we can. We're about $10 a day for each one of us for food, and yeah, the gas. We'll keep everything down, and with that, we will also be like on I don't know when, but very soon we'll put out, an expense report for all of the donors and sponsors, the money that we brought in, and and just show you the money where it was spent just on gas and food and just the necessities. So, and we'll publicly put that out there because we don't conceal anything, and it's not about it's not about the money. However, we do require it. And having said that, at the end of this video, I'll put out a PayPal donation thing that I have there. But if there's anyone that's sponsoring, and what I would call a sponsor is anyone over $200, please PM me and we'll do it through email. We're trying to keep the PayPal donations roughly below $200. But as we keep what we're doing going forward too, um, if we keep going, if we need to keep going forward and the funding, if that grows, what we wish always to do is keep putting the funding forward. We don't take from it. We give you our basic expenses. That's what it is. That does not change. And we just keep going forward with this. But it's always great, let me say, to have funding in place, so that we can very quickly also go to other places. Because what's occurring is that we have a tentative route across Canada, but what's occurring is that we are veering off of that route because we have to go where the where divinity dictates we must go. So we just put a tentative general route, but we're not restricted to that. And with this whole divine ascension, you cannot have these sort of restrictions. So we just keep going where we must go, and what fits in, and we're really following the flow. We put a tentative route out there. However, divinity is guiding us. We're not controlling it. And that way we get to the more of you that we need to. So, okay, getting back to last evening. Last evening, Sharon, we were doing yoga. We did some yoga at the Kelowna one for about 35 or 40 minutes. But last evening, Sharon leaded up a yoga, a light breathing meditative yoga where you just remain seated, sorry. And everyone participated in that. And there was a noticeable difference um, in the room afterwards. It does create a higher vibration and a more harmonious place as well. So what I personally is sharing is that I felt the good effects of that light breathing meditative yoga and just sitting down. I did not partake in it last evening. I was kind of distracted, but uh, I was distracted for a reason, so I could observe and see, yeah, how it is beneficial and great. So, having said that, again, in these gatherings going forward, we have a tentative agenda, but what I do suggest is at least some form of mild yoga, light yoga, or meditative yoga because of what it does with your energy, and it frees things up and it brings you to a higher state of being. It does assist with that. So we anticipate offering that freely, of course, at the gatherings, and but no one's restricted to do it. You don't want to do yoga if you don't need to do it. You just sit there and observe, and yeah, we just appreciate and respect the others that do have the interest in it, and it does resonate for them to do it. So no one's compelled to do anything. No one can boss anyone to do anything. You are your own divine sovereign being, and no one needs to tell you anything about how you should be or what you should do. And, those are the basics and the fundamentals of spirituality, and in so many heightened consciousness beliefs, right? It's the respect for the others and non-judgment, and all of the basics. I'm not going into it. So it's great. So I got some more notes here. I'm kind of mixing this up. I know it wasn't right all on track about last night's gathering, but I'm doing an inclusive. Um, so we have the Calgary event that is posted, a very important event on the 7/7. So it's on Sunday, July 7th. So it's a 7/7 gateway. And let me share this with you as well. Prior coming to Kimberly last night, and even today, we are getting double sevens. The repetitive numbers are popping up. Also supporting the significance for I and the team of this upcoming Okotoks gathering. And also with that, it is anticipated at this time that, for with the gathering and testing our ability, let me say are, I'm not allowed to say may, I'm going to say we are attempting to perhaps bring in a ship, or to, let's say, even heighten uh, the experiences with the ships to whatever degree that is allowed to occur. We are going to open ourselves for this, and let's see what happens. Perhaps we can get a great light show in the least. It doesn't matter what happens, but what I'm saying is we already have that intent out there, and that the more that it resonates with there, let's go and do it, and let's see what happens. It may be real fun with that. So that's great. And so Calgary 1 is set up. Edmonton 1 pretty much set up. We will be putting the details out very soon on that. We do have a location and we do have hosts for the Edmonton 1. Now, as I said, we're taking this tentatively across Canada to the extent that we need to, but we'll only be giving you perhaps 2 weeks in advance the venues. We don't wish to restrict ourselves by planning too many because, for instance, after Edmonton, we had tentatively put Saskatoon, but that might change. We might need to go to another part. So we don't wish to restrict this, a little bit at a time, and as I said, follow divinity where we must go. Now, so the team and we've been just totally busy. That's why we're not getting much out to you. We rushed into this, if you will, but we're constructing it as we go. And we're looking at what works the best and what does not. So we are refining it as we go. But one thing that was important, what we just did, and yesterday, I believe, or the day before, is the Ascension Caravan Journey. That is the group page here on Facebook, Ascension Caravan Journey. So I created another group, and what we are posting in that is our experiences and pictures as the team and I go along the journey. We are going to be showing you, some repetitive numbers, pictures of things, and even notes of experiences. That's what that is there for. So I created that page. Um, I put the link to it before this live to give to you so you know where it's at. Just request to join. You don't have to ask questions in this one. We just take everyone in. But one thing, there's going to be no posting by anyone other than I, Sharon, and Helen at this time. We don't want to clutter up anyone posting other things. So we wish to keep it just focused on the journey with just things coming from us so that all of you may follow along if you wish and watch the journey as well and watch what is occurring. So we have created that. It is in place. And I just, on Real Angels page here on Facebook, I just put the post there, and also on my timeline, you can go click on that post on the link, and if you wish, join it. So, and you can keep tabs on us where we're at and what's